Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial here on IT.tutorials. I am Josef Bodnar and I am inviting you to another C# 10 and .NET 6.0 tutorial here on IT.tutorials. So this tutorial has the goal to talk about numeric data types for C# 10 and .NET 6.0. I would recommend you to study the numeric data types for C# 10 using the Microsoft Doc website. There you can find very valuable and detailed information regarding to numeric data types. So therefore go to Google and type in Google box C# 10 numeric data types Microsoft Doc. About these links will come up, and I would recommend you to choose this one, built-in types C# reference Microsoft Docs. Click on it and this will take you to this web page, and where you will find built-in types C#. Yeah, here you are going to have more than just numeric data types. You are going to have here a bool, which is a boolean type. You are going to have char, which is a character type. You are going to have string, which is a string type. But here you will have all the numeric data type. Yeah, so this byte, S byte, decimal, double, float, integer, uinter, ninter, this ninter and uinter, they start to be from C# 9. So here this n means native integer, and here this nu means native unsigned integer, and they are used in special to manipulate arithmetic pointers. I'm going to do a separate tutorial about these two types, which comes starting with C# 9, long, U long, short, and U short. And also all these, and you can go here. For example, let's click on the byte, and here actually you have all the integral numeric types, yeah, which are those in this list, and down here you have the list of, now you go here on the left side and click on the floating point numeric types, and here you will find a list with all floating pointing numeric types: float, double, and decimal. I'm gonna go back on the integral numeric types, yeah, and I go back a bit further. Okay, because here just I want to clarify a few things. First of all these types are built-in types. So that means these types are built in C# compiler, and we have to declare a variable using before the name all these types. Otherwise you will receive errors. Also, as you can see, here is a column with C# type, and here on the right side you have the .NET type. There is not a big difference between these two. They represent the same data type. Yeah, just as you can see, here you have just bool, and the first letter is a lower letter, and here on the right side you have the system in front of the data type dot, and as you can see, for the boolean you have all the word boolean, and you have B, upper B, yeah, and the first letter is upper for all these types, which is part of .NET type. But you can use either, doesn't matter, they do the same thing, yeah. And here you have another word which is important. All these here, which is part of this list, are built-in value types. What does these value types mean? The value types means all these types will store the value which is used to assign all these types by value. Yeah, if you declare a variable, let's say a, and you change the value of this variable in your code, the compiler will create another memory space for another value. So that means the same variable will have multiple memory space, and they will hold multiple values. But regarding to built-in reference types, all these types are holding the memory space, the address of the memory space, and they will refer a memory address, yeah, which means if you change the value for all the variables that refers the same memory address, the value will be changed for all the variables that refer the same memory address. But I'm going to do a tutorial to explain the difference between reference types and value types, and perhaps then you will understand better the difference between these two. Okay, so now let's click here, for example, on byte, and here you have all the integral numeric types on this list, yeah, as you can see, and here is the range for all of them. And as I told you, this U before this data types means unsigned. So that means, as you can see here, for example, U short is just positive numbers. So this type where you will find this U, that means you can assign that data type just with positive numbers. Yeah. Okay. Another column is the size used to store this type. Yeah. And as I told you, the last column referred to .NET type. What is important also is here I'm going to click on floating point numeric types. These are another numeric types which can receive just floating or real values, just real values. Yeah, what means real values? Means the numbers that are using decimal point. For example, the integral numeric types, they don't use the decimal point. Yeah. Okay, let's go back, and here all these types, float, double, decimal, we can store real numbers, so the numbers with the decimal point. So they are used, actually this is the correct word, they are used to hold real numbers, the numbers with decimal point. And here you have the approximate range, the precision. The precision is very important. As you can see, the float has this 6 to 9 digits precision. What does it mean? This means that the float you will have usually the precision for float is 7 digits, yeah, and that means you can have after decimal point 7 digits if you assign or the result of some operations will be more than 7 digits after decimal point, that means the compiler will put there 0 and not the digits. Yeah, it will put there 0. But as you can see, for double the precision is bigger, 15 to 17 digits, and the highest precision is for a decimal, 28 to 29 digits. Here is the size that used to store all these types, and the last column is the .NET type. Yeah. Also, here is very important to know that to declare, for example, float, you have to use either the lower f or the upper f. For decimal, m, the lower m or the upper m, and for double, the lower d or the upper d. You have to know that all the real numbers, if you declare any real numbers in your code, C# code, implicitly the compiler will consider that real number as a double type. Yeah, and this is the one of the reasons you have to put this suffix. But anyway, if you don't put the suffix for decimal and for float, you will receive errors. But you are not bound to put the suffix for the double. This is optional, this lower d or upper d. Alright, so that's all about the theory. So as I told you, I would recommend you to study all these web pages regarding to numeric data types here on this website, which is the original Microsoft Doc website. And here you will find, as you can see, very detailed information about numeric data types. Yeah. Now let's go and let's do a very simple project regarding to the object of this tutorial, namely numeric data types. Yeah. So I'm going to do a console app, click on next. Yeah, let's give a name for this app, like numeric type app. Yeah, click on next and choose .NET 6.0, create 6.0. Here you go. Okay, let's remove this. We don't need these statements. And here I'm going to write using static system.console semicolon. And now let's declare a variable. If I'm going to put here like number, and I'm going to put in it, I want this variable to have this type, integer. Yeah, and I'm going to assign it with 5, for example, and semicolon. As you can see, we have errors. Yeah, if I have this variable, it's clear we have here the message that this name doesn't exist in the current context. Yeah, so the compiler does not recognize it. Yeah, why the compiler does not recognize this name? Yeah, the compiler does not recognize this name because, as I told you, C# has built-in types. So that means we have to put a type before the name that the compiler to be able to recognize the variable. But if I have this number, as you can see, here appears this box, and in it is written this number is a integer. It is a int32 type. Yeah, so that means the compiler is able to recognize the numbers and the type. Yeah, so this is very important. But in order to avoid this error, we have to put the type before the name of the variable. So I'm going to put int because I want this variable to be a integer variable. Now, you should know you can find a lot of information straight here from Visual Studio. You don't need to go on a Microsoft website. You can find the information what you need from here. For example, you have to know the range of this type. Yeah, and how you can find the range. Maybe you don't know, maybe you forget, and so on. So there is a few ways. So click with the right side of the mouse, and here you have this peak definition. Click on it, and here you can find that this is a read-only structure. Yeah, and you can find here this constant. How you know this is a constant? Is this keyword here, const? Yeah, and you can use this constant to find the maximum value which a integer type can receive, or you can find the range. So this is the max value using this constant max value, and here is the mean value, as you can see. Yeah, and here you have a lot of methods and so on. Another way to find information is to go to definition. Yeah, but this will take you to another file, so I would recommend you to use the peak definition. And also we know that the integer is part of this namespace system. Yeah, and here we have these two constants to find out the max value and min value of integers. Yeah, so therefore if now I'm going to use a right line, and here the integer type dot, and I'm going to use the mean value constant. I can find out the mean value of the integer type, or the max value of integer type using this constant max value. Let's save and let's release. Let's run this up. And here you go, the result. Yeah, the minimum value of integer type and the max value of integer type is here in console. You can change this. Yeah, if you go on with a right click and here on properties, even you can change the properties for the console. Yeah, you go on font, for example, and let's put like 20 or even 24, and let's click OK. And as you can see now, this is larger, is bigger. You can see better. Yeah. Okay. Let's remove the console. Yeah. And here, as you have seen, sometimes you see this U before the type, like in a T. Yeah. And this U means unsigned. So that means this type can receive just positive numbers. So this type cannot receive numbers with sign. For example, negative numbers. The negative numbers are with sign. If here I put -5, I receive errors. Yeah, because here clear it says this number is not accepted by this type. If I remove the sign, as you can see, the error disappeared. So bear in your mind, if you see this U before the type, that means you can assign just positive numbers. Yeah. All right. Another important thing is regarding to floating point numbers, how you assign the literals or the values. Okay, so I'm gonna declare this variable number double. Yeah, and I'm going to assign it with 3.65 semicolon. As you can see, again, I've got errors. Why? Because I don't have the type before this variable. But if I hover the number, as you can see, the C# compiler recognizes the number to be double. So as I told you, the C# compiler implicitly will recognize all the floating point numbers, all the real numbers as double. Alright, but if I put here float, I still have, as you can see, error here. Yeah, and I have the number and still saying the compiler that this is double. Alright, what I have to do to remove this error, I have to put here either a small f, and as you can see the error disappear, or the bigger f or the upper f. Yeah, and now as you can see the compiler will consider this number as floating point number. Yeah, this type float will be considered this number by compiler. Yeah. All right, let's see now for the decimal. So here, yeah, I put 3.65 semicolon. Again, the number is considered implicitly double by compiler. Okay, even I put here the decimal, as you can see, but I have to put here either lower m in order this number to be considered by compiler decimal, as you can see, or upper m. And now the number is considered decimal and the error disappeared. So bear in your mind all these things are very important regarding to not just the numeric data types, all data types used in C#. Also here you can find information, either you go on pick definition or go definition. As you can see here, you can find valuable informations about all numeric data types. So that's all for today regarding to numeric data types. Thank you for watching this video tutorial. I'm waiting you to watch my other video tutorials if you like. Have a lovely day. See you next time. Bye bye.